This is the evening news for Wednesday, October 16, 2013. I am Leanna Bradshaw. Thanks for joining us. Making the headlines tonight. Muslims countrywide observe Eid al-Adha. Government to tackle security issues in mining districts. NIS would not be able to recover losses from GSL official. And GPHC training to improve staff performance. Now for the news in detail. Today, Muslims across the country are observing Eid al-Adha, the day of sacrifice. More in this report.
This day marks a significant event on the Muslim calendar all around the world. Today's celebrations commenced with prayers and a sermon, followed by the sacrificing of animals and distribution of meat. This newscast spoke with various members of mosques, and this is what they had to say.
It is one of the greatest celebrations of the Muslims, and it is referred to as the Great Eid, because we have 3 Eids, one every Friday, and one fall immediately after Ramadan, and this is the sacrifice of Prophet Abraham, the commemoration of it. So this is the greatest Eid for us.
It is about willingness to sacrifice of your wealth and yourself in obedience to God Almighty. And we believe that this earns us forgiveness from God, and this is following in the example of Abraham. May Allah have send peace on him, for he was commanded to sacrifice his son, and he willingly obeyed.
Eid al-Adha is a compulsory act, one which, if a Muslim can afford it, must do. It was noted during this time livestock farmers increased the prices of bulls, resulting in a shortage of beef. Brother Abdul Jabbar, assistant imam at the Alexander Village Mosque, said that this should never be that way. He said that the money used to purchase the animals comes from a person's hard-earned wealth, since it cannot be earned from doing something adulterous, such as selling alcohol. The animal, when slaughtered, is then divided into portions so that family members and the needy can benefit. There are some instances where Muslims who can afford it ask the masjid to slaughter an entire animal on their behalf, and in those cases the money goes solely to the needy and the less fortunate. Eid al-Adha, or the Day of Sacrifice, commemorates the willingness shown by Abraham when he was commanded by God to sacrifice his only son Ishmael. It was a test, one of which was passed, and before Abraham fulfilled his command, God sent a ram to be sacrificed instead. Since then, Muslims living at all corners of the globe have been observing this day. It is not just about meat, but is symbolic, as it is about the willingness to sacrifice oneself in obedience to God. For the evening news, Whitney Prasad.
Security issues facing the mining community could be addressed soon, as Natural Resources and the Environment Minister Robert Prasad has made another commitment to ensure it is aggressively pursued and persons are brought to justice. Sabatini Daniels reports.
Miners have constantly raised concerns relating to security in the hinterland regions, hence Minister Prasad has given his assurance that this issue will be addressed. He noted that one of the major approaches which the government has been working on is to push inter-sector collaboration.
There's a very coordinated approach of dealing with this, because we have to pool resources, we have to develop, as it were, mechanisms of assisting and aiding, and it continues to be a priority area of work in progress.
Prasad said several other mechanisms are already in place to address this issue, adding that some of the methods which government has facilitated have seen some results. The minister was cognizant that issues which occur in the hinterland are not only crime-related but sometimes acts of lawlessness.
Sometimes we see acts of lawlessness, sometimes we see acts of persons who are imbibed in alcohol, and one thing leads to another. Sometimes we see, personal spats that, as it were, get ugly and sometimes deadly, unfortunately. And that itself casts a very negative shadow over the state of security within our hinterland.
Miners have been frequently robbed in the hinterland, while some persons have been murdered. As such, there have been numerous calls for the government to address this issue once and for all. Security ranks have also been blamed of breaking the law in these mining districts, with some of them already prosecuted before the courts for these same issues. Sabatini Daniels reporting for the Evening News.
A senior official at the National Insurance Scheme NIS, speaking on the condition of anonymity, said that the scheme is at its wit's end, as it will not be able to recover the likely losses, financial and otherwise, if Ghana Stores Limited GSL is liquidated in the near future. More in this report.
Early in the week, attempts to contact NIS General Manager Doreen Nelson proved futile. The official who spoke with this newscast said clearance from higher authority was needed before he could divulge any further information in relation to any steps the NIS could possibly take to recover its investment. Word from several other senior sources at NIS is that the matter of its GSL investment has been engaging the attention of management and the board for quite some time. NIS Chairman Dr. Roger Luncheon is yet to comment publicly on the matter in light of the glaring and explosive revelations contained in reports following a review of the GSL's annual reports from 2001 to 2009. Financial analysts say the situation with NIS and GSL mirrors the investment made by the scheme into Clico Guyana. At the end of 2004, NIS had invested more than $9 billion in the insurance company, which represented in excess of 40% of the company's assets at that time. But at the end of 2008, this investment had been reduced to $5.6 billion, which represented about 20% of the assets of the NIS. When GSL was privatized in 2000, Glenn Lal and Tony Yassin of Royal Investments Inc. acquired 70%. The NIS had 10%, and employees and other small shareholders collectively owned the remaining 20% of the company. When GSL's annual reports up to 2009 were compiled, the directors, including Lal and Yassin, skimmed off an astounding $602.9 million in interest, consultancy fees, allowances, and accommodation. Of the 1,561 small GSL shareholders, about half are employees who had spent their hard-earned salaries to purchase shares. This is because GSL was in breach of the Companies Act through the dereliction of duty by Lal and Yassin. The small stockholders could not even sell off their shares. The GSL annual reports, however, disclosed the directors spent $126.5 million on allowances and accommodation alone. Another $303.9 million was paid as consultancy fees to the directors. Yassin, the owner of the majority of RII shares, had promised to inject equity into GSL at the time of privatization. Reports show that he made a loan available for which he has been charging 19.5% interest. On the other hand, the millions of dollars government loaned have not been repaid, but GSL does not want to pay any interest. The GRA has taken GSL to court for $354 million in unpaid taxes.
A man was on Tuesday evening shot and injured while attempting to escape after allegedly snatching a gold band from a customer in the vicinity of Guinness Bar Main Street, New Amsterdam. The shooting incident occurred at about 22 hours 50. Dunstan Simpson, 34, of number 53 Village Quarantine Berbice, was shot to his right side chest and is presently a patient at the New Amsterdam Hospital. The shooter, Gershwin Sullivan, also called Redman 33, a miner of George Street, Working-Rust, Georgetown, was subsequently taken into police custody and is assisting with investigations. Sullivan's .32 Taurus pistol, along with 21 live rounds of ammunition and one spent shell, were also lodged. Guyana's Special Weapons and Tactics SWAT unit will be in full operation by August of next year. This is according to the U.S.-based security and justice reform consultancy firm, the Emergence Group TEG Director Ambassador Dennis Hayes. Whitney Persaud tells us more.
The Emergence Group TEG Director Ambassador Dennis Hayes said that TEG has already identified individuals who will be coming to Guyana to have a first-hand look and assessment of existing capabilities, skills and equipment, after which they will develop a country-specific program. The plan will include training and mentoring exercises aimed at enhancing the Guyana Police Force, GPF.
At the Minister's request, we have looked to provide the training and the experience in as quickly as possible, and we've done that by sort of cutting back on our side of our prep time and how we're doing this. So we're expecting you will see us in the next few weeks. We will be back to do the assessment work. Certainly by the beginning of the year, we will move into the training of specific officers. That will continue, including the mentoring phase, into about the early summer.
The objective is to create additional crime-fighting strategies to deal with serious crimes in the country that are seemingly bigger than the Guyana Police Force. Ambassador Hayes said that the training programs will begin by December and early in 2014. The tech team will be moving to commence mentoring and training of officers, which will run until August. The tech director stated that this is an area in which the group has a great deal of expertise. Tech has worked in more difficult high-crime environments, including places like Afghanistan. He said that there are many misconceptions about the SWAT team, but officers are specially trained to work together to minimize violence and public unrest.
There are lots of sort of examples of a mixed service coming together to work together. And, the key in all of this is the teamwork aspect. Is that this group has to work together as a team, and we believe, and my experience here in country is that that's certainly an achievable goal.
Home Affairs Minister Clement Rohi said Guyana is moving to set up a SWAT in keeping with the global standards. He said persons should not be judgmental of its effectiveness just yet and should give the team a chance to function and deliver services. He said government and TEG have had very useful discussions. Rohi said government will be tackling the crime situation from all angles. The SWAT team will also be tackling small pockets of crime in Guyana. For the evening news, Whitney Prasad.
Thank you, Whitney. Do stay tuned. More news after the break. Welcome back. You're watching the evening news. The Guyana Gold and Diamond Miners Association, GGDMA, has expressed disappointment with the government of Guyana's move to reject proposals put forward despite significant contribution to the country's economy. Svetlana Marshall reports.
The proposed 5% excise tax on imported fuel put forward by the Guyana Gold and Diamond Miners Association, GGDMA, when it met with the government of Guyana was rejected. In August, GGDMA had asked for this tax exemption for imported fuel from legitimate oil companies in the Caribbean region. The association claims that fuel accounts for 25 to 30% of the production costs. GGDMA and the Natural Resources Ministry have now returned to the table to toil for alternative solutions. There was also a call for miners to be given the opportunity to sell up to 50% of the gold sold to the Guyana Gold Board in foreign exchange, but this too was partially rejected. Hardin told the Evening News via telephone that while the proposal has not been accepted in its entirety, an alternative is being sought. In November 2011, GGB informed miners that foreign exchange was not available. But subsequent to the notice, miners were allowed up to 100% in foreign exchange. But while GGDMA awaits the Ministry of Natural Resources to address many of the problems facing the industry, it has met with the newly appointed Commissioner of Police, Leroy Bromell. The GGDMA president said Commissioner Bromell has agreed to accelerate the process of approving firearm licenses, permits, and approval for miners to establish their private security services. But GGDMA members were advised to formulate themselves into subgroups to higher security services, since firearm license will most likely be granted a security form than an individual. Over the past 31 years, GGDMA has aided in the transformation of the gold industry, moving the declaration of gold from under 10,000 ounces of gold to a record of 438,645 ounces in 2012. At the end of 2013, it is anticipating a declaration of more than 460,000 ounces of gold. If this target is achieved, it will be the highest gold declaration made in the country, surpassing Omai and local combined declaration in 2001 of 456,000 ounces of gold. Reporting for the Evening News, I'm Svetlana Marshall.
Thanks, Svetlana. Guyana Agriculture and General Workers Union GAU President Kamal Chan said he hopes that the new strategic plan for the Guyana Sugar Corporation GAISUCO is a realistic one that will help to revive the local sugar industry. Samuel Suknandan reports.
GAWU's President Komal Chan comments comes on the heels of a recent announcement made by Agriculture Minister Dr. Leslie Ramsamy that a strategic plan has been finalized for Gaisuku and submitted to the Parliamentary Sectoral Committee on Economic Services. The GAWU President said he was unaware of such a plan being compiled. Neither his union nor the National Association of Agricultural, Commercial and Industrial Employees (NASI) was consulted or asked to make an input into the plan. Chan said he took umbrage over the union's non-involvement in this process as he believes that they are major stakeholders in the sugar industry. He noted that both unions would have been able to adequately advise and identify areas the corporation may need to pay attention to in order to revive the industry. Chan pointed out that there was no consultation with unions on the previous plan, which ended in 2009 and failed miserably. Quote, "We at the union are treated like ordinary people and not as stakeholders whereby we could have been involved in whatever possible way to take our views, suggestions or ideas on board." End of quote, Chan said. Despite this, the trade unionist said GAWU hopes that the plan succeeds. He noted too that this could only be possible with funding. The new Gaisuku Strategic Plan 2013 to 2017 stipulates that there will be a 100,000-ton reduction in the estimated annual output rather than what was outlined in the 2009 plan, which projected a yearly output of 450,000 tons of sugar. Sugar production in Ghana has been declining since 2005. During 2002 and 2004, production average was 315,000 tons per year. Gaisuku has said that weather strikes and poor worker turnout are problems affecting the industry. However, GAWU has refuted these claims, contending that the issue lies with Gaisuku providing better predictions and increasing its production with the effective use of workers and machines. For the Evening News, I'm Samuel Suknandan.
Government said that the dry spell being experienced at the Milo Falls was predicted in a hydrology report released in August, while maintaining that the project will allow an annual net savings of approximately $100 million. The government was responding to a series of Kaiser News reports. Recently, the newspaper published an aerial photograph showing a limited flow of water streaming from the Amila Falls, the water source for the proposed Amila Falls hydropower station. However, government said in August 2013 it issued a press release and a 70-page expert hydrology report prepared by Halcro, a U.S.-based, internationally recognized engineering consultancy group. The public is invited to refer to the report located at www.privatization.gov.gy. In light of concerns raised by numerous patients about the quality of care at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation being compromised by negative staff attitudes, CEO of the institution, Michael Khan, said management is aggressively addressing this issue. With the view of boosting the work performance of staff at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation (GPHC), the hospital's management acquired funding to carry out Phase 2 of the Leadership Development Program. The program was hosted by the Ghana HIV/AIDS Reduction and Prevention Project, which targeted 25 managers. According to GPHC CEO Michael Khan, the program, which was implemented in March this year, addressed qualities expected from heads of departments and how they should approach staff.
We did our training programs with the staff concerning the way they speak to people. And presently we're looking at that issue at the management level, but also we are addressing it through the disciplinary procedure too.
Khan expressed optimism that the teachings of the leadership program would eventually be reflected in attitudes of junior staff towards clients seeking health care at the medical institution. However, he stressed that the visiting public and patients must make the necessary complaints with formal documentation when they experience ill treatment before hospital officials can enforce disciplinary actions against defaulting staff.
What we are asking many people, and this is not the first time I made the appeal, always nice to make a complaint to the media. If management doesn't know about it, we can't address the issue.
The GPHC CEO outlined that the correct documentation for complaints include the date and time of the incident experienced, as well as the nature of the issue and the name of the member of staff involved. A Yakusari man has become the latest victim of a hit-and-run accident after he was allegedly struck down while walking along the Japo Public Road, Blackbush Polder, on Tuesday evening. The dead man was identified as Arvind Dayal, 35, of Lot 120, Yakusari North, Blackbush Polder. According to reports, on Tuesday at about 19:30, a resident of Yakusari Blackbush Polder was driving along the Blackbush Polder access road when he recognized the man lying motionless on the roadway. He reportedly contacted the number 51 police station relating what he saw. When police ranks arrived on the scene, a small crowd was gathered around Dayal, who was lying, and upon inspecting the body, it was discovered that his head and back had several wounds and his body had several bruises consistent with a hit-and-run accident. The body was taken to the Skeldon Public Hospital, where he was seen and examined by a doctor on duty, who pronounced him dead. The body is at the said hospital mortuary awaiting a post-mortem examination. Do stay tuned, more news still ahead. This is the evening news. Welcome back. Agriculture Minister Dr. Leslie Ramsamy says this year's annual rice production is expected to supersede both the target of this year and the production of last year. Some 60% of paddy has been harvested countrywide thus far for the second crop of rice. However, as it relates to individual regions, some have harvested more than others. This was disclosed by Agriculture Minister Dr. Leslie Ramsamy during an interview with this newscast. He highlighted that Region 2 has already finished harvesting approximately 90%, while others, such as Regions 5 and 6, are a bit behind. Dr. Ramsamy said production is close to 200,000 tons for the second crop already, and with another 40% still to be harvested, the target of 206,000 tons will be exceeded.
We had set 412,000 tons, 206,000 for each crop. Last crop, we exceeded the 206 by about 56,000 tons, because our production was close to 263,000 tons. We expect that we are going to come close to that or even surpass that for this crop.
The Agriculture Minister added that with the 412,000 tons this year compared to last year's 422,000 tons, production is likely to exceed 500,000 tons. While this is a good accomplishment, however, the minister said the main challenges that stem from this are the issues of finding additional storage facilities as well as markets. 3 armed bandits on Tuesday morning tied up a watchman and carted off with a quantity of items belonging to Ganesh Sawmill, Port Moran, Corentyne, Berbice at about 3:30. The men, who were armed with a small grey handgun, took away $7,000 from the watchman, Ganesh Bisesar, one chainsaw valued $180,000, $15,000 in other items which were in the office of the said sawmill. According to Ganesh Bisesar, 39, a watchman of Bloomfield, Port Moran, Corentyne, at about 3 hours on Tuesday morning, he was sitting in front of the sawmill's office when he heard a boat drove up to the wharf from the Corentyne River. He reportedly told investigators that shortly after, he saw 3 suspects who confronted him and held him at gunpoint, demanding that he handed over his money and relieved him of the cash mentioned. They then took him about 20 feet away from where he was sitting and tied him up. Based on reports received, the men broke open the office door and removed the article and cash, after which they made good their escape. The police have launched an investigation into the incident. Statistics is a very critical component in society as it relates to providing data for evidence-based policies, which guides and monitors progress at the country and regional levels. Ambassador Colin Granderson, attached to CARICOM, made this comment during a presentation ceremony yesterday. Whitney Prasad reports.
To commemorate the 5th Caribbean Statistic Day, Ambassador Colin Granderson said that this year's observance falls within the worldwide honor of International Year of Statistic. This year is also a milestone for the Caribbean community, which is observing its 40th anniversary, symbolizing the vision of founding fathers, who saw regional integration as the path to achieving growth and development within countries. Granderson said that the Regional Statistic Program of CARICOM Secretariat works with countries from international and regional organizations in an effort to strengthen capacity. This is with the aim of producing a range of statistics and indicators that are then disseminated to users. According to the ambassador, key international development partners like the European Union and the Inter-American Development Bank play a vital role in supporting the efforts at statistical development in the region.
Special mention must be made of the European community for the support provided to enable the conduct of the various competitions held during this year by its contribution to, first of all, the trophies and prizes for the primary and secondary school quiz competitions, and also for the essay competitions, and secondly, the prizes for the logo and motto competitions that have been held throughout the region to launch the Caribbean Association of Professional Statisticians.
Turning his attention to the Regional Statistic Unit annual schools quiz competition held to mark this day, the ambassador thanked the schools that have participated in the various competitions. CARICOM, he said, is rest assured that the key goals of Statistic 2013 through the participation of schools and children have been achieved, and these goals are increasing public awareness of the power and far-reaching impact of statistics on all aspects of society. In light of Caribbean Statistics Day 2013, the Regional Statistic Unit hosted its annual school quiz competition and today presented winners with trophies and prizes at the CARICOM Secretariat. Reporting for the Evening News, Whitney Prasad.
Thank you, Whitney. Do stay tuned. Your sport news is next. Welcome back, and now for a look at your sport news in the headlines. Date for National Sport Championship confirmed. IGG team set for second leg in Suriname. Kohli and Sharma star in India's record-breaking ODI win. And now for the details. The National School Cycling, Swimming and Athletics Championship have been confirmed for November 19 to 22 at the Ghana National Stadium, Providence. Initially, the event was to be held from November 11 to 15, but due to the Inter-Services Athletics Championships, also known as Joint Services, being held around the same period, organizers of the event chose to move the dates, which was agreed upon on Tuesday. School Nationals, which is the largest sporting event in Guyana, will be entering its 53rd year and will pit Guyana's top juniors from across the 10 regions against each other. Ghana will be looking to make a strong showing in Suriname for the second leg of the Inter-Guyana Games IGG, as the team is set for departure on Thursday morning. Tristam Joseph reports.
Guyana will be departing from the National Gymnasium and will be participating in athletics, volleyball, swimming and basketball. Athletes from the 4 disciplines have been hard at work in preparation for the second leg and should be able to produce some top performances. Chef de mission of the team, Dr. Karen Pilgrim, noted that all systems are in place for the team to travel. Dr. Pilgrim also noted that she believes that athletics and volleyball should be the disciplines to do well at the games. The basketball team, which comprises of some fresh faces, will have to work doubly hard in Suriname. The same is the case for the swimming team. The team is expected to start competing on Friday, with basketball being the first to go into action.
India pulled off the second highest run chase in one-day internationals to thrash Australia by 9 wickets and level their series at 1-1 on Wednesday in Jaipur. The hosts surged to their target of 360 with 39 balls to spare as Virat Kohli smashed the fastest ODI century by an Indian from just 52 deliveries. Rohit Sharma struck the winning runs to finish on 141 not out after Shakir Dhawan weighed in with 95. The highest run chase is South Africa's 438 for 9 against Australia in 2006. Batting first, Australia piled up 359 for 5, with their entire top 5 passing 50, and Bailey top scoring with 92 not out of 50 balls. Stay tuned, your bridge reports are next. Welcome back, and now for a look at your bridge reports. The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed on Thursday, October 17 at 14 hours 30 for a period of 1.5 hours. The Berbice River Bridge will be closed on Thursday, August 17 at 15 hours 5 for a period of 1.5 hours. And that's your Wednesday, August 16, 2013 edition of the Evening News. I am Leanna Bradshaw. Thanks for joining us.